Welcome to Endless Love Stories. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy today's incredible true story that will leave you absolutely shocked. My mom burned my $1.8 million lottery check because I refused to share with my sister, but here's the twist. My name is Marcus, and I'm 32 years old living in Atlanta, Georgia. This story happened 6 months ago, and it completely changed my life in ways I never expected. I work as a construction foreman, and I've been buying lottery tickets every Friday for the past 8 years. It was just something I did for fun, never really expecting to win anything big. My girlfriend, Jessica, who I've been dating for 3 years, always said I was wasting money, but she supported my little weekly ritual because it made me happy. Jessica works as a teacher at an elementary school, and she's the most generous person I know. She would always donate her spare time to help struggling students, and she volunteers at the local animal shelter on weekends. When we started dating, I was immediately attracted to her kindness and the way she cared about everyone around her. She never judged me for my simple lifestyle or my blue-collar job. She would always tell me that success isn't measured by money, but by the love you give and receive. My family situation has always been complicated. My mom, Patricia, raised me and my sister, Kelly, after our dad left when I was 12. Mom worked 2 jobs to support us, and I've always been grateful for her sacrifices. But she's always favored Kelly, who is now 29 and works as a real estate agent. Kelly has always been the golden child who could do no wrong in Mom's eyes. Even when Kelly made bad decisions, Mom would make excuses for her and find ways to bail her out of trouble. Kelly has a gambling problem, and she's been in debt for years. She borrowed money from Mom multiple times and never paid it back. She also borrowed money from me several times, promising to repay me, but she never did. Last year, she lost her house because she couldn't make the mortgage payments after losing everything at the casino. Mom let her move back home and has been supporting her financially ever since. Whenever I tried to talk to Mom about Kelly's problems, she would get defensive and say that family helps family no matter what. 6 months ago, on a Friday evening, I was checking my lottery numbers like I always do. Jessica was making dinner in the kitchen when I suddenly started screaming. She ran over thinking something was wrong, but I showed her my ticket and the winning numbers on my phone. I had matched all 6 numbers and won the jackpot of $1.8 million. We both started crying and hugging each other. Jessica kept saying she couldn't believe it was real and that our lives were about to change forever. The next morning, I went to the lottery office to claim my prize. After taxes, I would receive about $1.1 million, which was still more money than I had ever dreamed of having. The lottery officials gave me the official check and congratulated me. I took a photo of myself holding the check and sent it to Jessica, who was at work. She immediately called me crying happy tears and said she was so proud of me and excited about our future together. When I got home, I called my mom to share the good news. She screamed with excitement and said she was so happy for me. But then she immediately asked if I was going to help Kelly with her debts. I told her I wanted to think about it and make smart decisions with the money. Mom said she understood, but I could hear disappointment in her voice. She said Kelly had been struggling so much lately, and this could be the answer to all her problems. That evening, Kelly called me crying and begging for help. She said she owed money to some dangerous people and needed at least $200,000 to get out of debt. She promised she would get help for her gambling addiction if I just helped her this one time. I told her I needed to discuss it with Jessica and think about it carefully. Kelly got angry and said I was being selfish and that family should come first. She hung up on me before I could respond. Jessica and I talked about it for hours that night. She said the decision was ultimately mine, but she was worried that giving Kelly money wouldn't solve her real problem. She pointed out that Kelly had never gotten professional help for her gambling addiction and that enabling her might make things worse. Jessica said she would support whatever decision I made, but she wanted me to consider all the consequences carefully. The next day, I decided to visit Kelly and Mom to talk about the situation in person. When I arrived at Mom's house, both Kelly and Mom were waiting for me. They had obviously been discussing strategy because they immediately started pressuring me to help Kelly. Mom said that Kelly was family and that I had an obligation to help her since I now had the means to do so. Kelly started crying again and said she would lose everything if I didn't help her. I told them I had decided to give Kelly $50,000 to help with her most urgent debts, but that she needed to get professional help for her gambling addiction first. I said I would pay for rehab and counseling, but I wouldn't just hand over money without conditions. Kelly exploded and said I was being controlling and manipulative. Mom sided with Kelly and said I was being unreasonable and selfish. The argument escalated quickly, and I finally told them that it was my money and my decision. I said I worked hard for 8 years buying those tickets, and that I deserved to make my own choices about how to spend my winnings. Kelly called me greedy and said I had forgotten where I came from. Mom said she was disappointed in me and that I was letting money change who I was as a person. I left their house feeling angry and confused. When I got home, Jessica could see how upset I was. She held me while I told her everything that happened. She said my family was being unfair and that my conditions were reasonable and responsible. She reminded me that true love and support doesn't come with strings attached and that my family should be happy for my success instead of demanding money from me. 2 days later, Mom called me and asked me to come over to discuss things calmly. When I arrived, she seemed different, more determined and cold. She said she had been thinking about the situation and realized that I wasn't going to do the right thing for Kelly. Before I could respond, she pulled out my lottery check from her purse. I couldn't believe she had taken it from my house without permission. Mom said that if I wasn't going to share with Kelly, then nobody should have the money. She walked over to the fireplace, and before I could stop her, she threw the check into the flames. I watched in horror as $1.8 million burned to ashes. Kelly was standing behind Mom, smiling like she had won some kind of victory. I was so shocked I couldn't even speak for several minutes. When I finally found my voice, I asked Mom how she could do such a thing. She said that money was evil and that it was destroying our family. She said she would rather see it burn than watch me become a selfish person who abandons his family. Kelly said I deserved it for being greedy and that maybe now I would learn what really mattered in life. I left their house in complete shock and drove straight to Jessica's school. When she saw me, she immediately knew something terrible had happened. I told her everything, and she started crying for me. She said she couldn't believe anyone would do something so cruel, especially family members. She held me while I processed what had just happened and assured me that we would get through this together. But here's the twist that changed everything. When I got home, I called the lottery office to report what happened. The representative told me something amazing that I didn't know. She said that the physical check was just a ceremonial document for photos and publicity. The actual money had already been transferred electronically to my bank account the day I claimed the prize. She said the check Mom burned was basically worthless paper and that my $1.1 million was sitting safely in my account. I immediately logged into my banking app and there it was. Every penny was still there, untouched and safe. Mom and Kelly had destroyed a piece of paper thinking they were destroying my future, but they had actually accomplished nothing except revealing their true characters. I called Jessica immediately and told her the incredible news. She started laughing and crying at the same time, saying she couldn't believe the irony of the situation. The next day I called Mom and told her about the twist. There was complete silence on the phone for almost a minute. Then she started demanding that I still give money to Kelly since I actually had it. I told her that her actions had shown me exactly who she really was and that I was cutting contact with both her and Kelly. I said that Jessica had shown me what real love and support looked like and that I was choosing to surround myself with people who celebrated my success instead of trying to destroy it. Jessica and I used the money to buy a beautiful house and start our own family. We got married 4 months ago and we're expecting our first child in the spring. I also started my own construction company and have been able to provide jobs for 12 other workers in our community. Jessica quit teaching and now runs a non-profit organization that helps children from broken families. Mom and Kelly have tried to contact me several times, but I've blocked their numbers and refused to see them. Some family members have said I'm being too harsh, but Jessica reminds me that toxic people will always try to drag you down no matter how much you love them. She taught me that Real family supports your dreams and celebrates your victories instead of trying to sabotage them out of jealousy and greed. The lesson I learned is that money doesn't change who you are, but it reveals who the people around you really are. Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most are actually your biggest enemies when success comes your way. But when you find someone like Jessica who loves you unconditionally and supports your dreams, that's worth more than any lottery jackpot could ever be. If you enjoyed this incredible twist ending story from Endless Love Stories, please smash that like button and subscribe for more amazing real life stories that will blow your mind. Share this video with your friends and family and let us know in the comments what you would have done in my situation. Thanks for watching Endless Love Stories, and we'll see you in the next amazing story.